Hey, how you guys doing? So I've been getting more into amber fragrances these days, and perfect time for the fall season. So the fragrance I'm reviewing today is one that was actually recommended to me by a friend, Milos, my friend Milos in the Czech Republic, who, by the way, has an amazing collection. It's not about the number of fragrances, but really sort of, having a collection that really kind of captures your taste and your personality. And he, as we were talking, said that he, was trying to refine his collection to have only the kind of classiest of the classiest and the finest of the finest. And, the fragrance we have today, I think, fits that bill perfectly. It's Van Cleef and Arpels Ambre Imperial. And these bottles, if you know, are from their collection extraordinaire. I think some of the line has discontinued it, but some of the line is still going. So I have one from before. It's California Reverie. It's more for women, if I had to say, but it's a very, very well done fragrance. Whew, yeah, I mean, it's bright, it's refreshing, and it's just something a little bit different. I think sometimes Van Cleef offers these kind of fragrances that are, exceptional quality and smell a little just different enough from the mainstream, yet, very, very mass appealing. And this is another such fragrance that's an interpretation of amber. So we'll talk about this. Now, Van Cleef, I think, is a hidden kind of gem in terms of the brand. These fragrances go for $220 or so retail from department stores, and on FragranceNet you can get a lot of these testers with the cap for $80 to $90, which is a great deal. Based on the quality that you get. So this one, the perfumer is Quentin Biche. And that was actually one of the main draws for me. I mean, he's done a lot of amazing scents, in the niche world. One that I recently tried, Ganymede. So he's a sort of a younger, like very, kind of interesting perfumer. So anyway, he did this. And if you look at the notes, nothing special there. Just some, pink pepper, bergamot up top, and then vanilla and overall an amber accord. And that's what you get, right? This is a very simple fragrance that's done to perfection. So, for me, this fragrance is a little bit different from ambers that I'm used to, in that there is nothing smoky, nothing dark or incensey or kind of hot feeling or earthy feeling about this scent. It's all about this smooth, rich amber accord. And I do have to say, it's one of those ambers that's really heavy on vanilla. Now, a lot of notes that are classically used in amber fragrances play on a vanilla-like accord. So things like, benzoin, vanilla itself. And I'm thinking of another note. But a lot of things, vanilla is sort of characteristic of amber fragrances, but it varies. The fragrances vary in terms of how much of that accord it gets versus others. A lot of scents use lab denim, which has more of a smoky, dry feel. This one, no. This one is sort of in the gourmand territory. But what's interesting about this scent is that it's gourmand not because it's overly sweet, but because of just, in terms of the balance it achieves, how edible it seems, despite not being so overly sweet. I think that speaks to the quality of the vanilla scent that they've achieved here. So let me spray another one, even though, I sprayed it in the morning and it's still going strong. This is you might read that, some people say it's a soft kind of scent. It's not at all, in my opinion. It's, it's sort of a very enveloping, cozy, smooth, and subtle seeming scent. But in terms of performance, it's all day long. This richness really just clings to your skin. At least for me, it's working that way. So, just like the notes kind of might give you a sense of, it opens up with the brightness. So, and that brightness is not all that long lasting, but yet this fragrance doesn't get heavy ever. But in the opening, of course, you get more of the top notes. So, while getting this very, very rich vanilla scent, it's a kind of smoothness a bit like Mercedes-Benz Club Black. That sort of level of thickness or texture and sweetness, but without the smokiness. So you get, because of this tart bergamot and the pink pepper, you get this kind of effervescent quality about this scent, in the opening especially. So it's already brightening up, an amber fragrance. Obviously it's amber, centric fragrance, Ambre Imperial. But like I was saying, I think that this leans pretty kind of heavily into vanilla territory. So you do have to like vanilla. And for me, vanilla is one of those notes that kind of tends to smell a little bit feminine. I just think that so many fragrances, cheap to expensive, especially like this kind of common cheaper department store fragrances, you'll smell vanilla all over the place, right? And it can often smell cheap and feminine, and not always, but a lot of fragrances don't do it in a very sophisticated way. Now this is different, and so I'm not a huge fan of vanilla normally, but here I thought initially that because of the heavy vanilla scent that it was a little bit feminine for me. And if you actually read other people's comments, some people say it leans a little bit masculine. So I think it's fair to say it's a pretty unisex scent, but depends on how you view vanilla. For me, it's a little bit of a feminine note, and it goes in that direction. The other thing that's adding to this slightly more feminine, soft quality, right? There's nothing aggressive about this, is the powderiness of this scent. So this definitely has a very creamy texture. Not heavy again, but definitely creamy, definitely powdery. And there's tonka bean here, which is also kind of creating this almost creamy, milky accord. The one bad thing that I'll point out, right, and it's not a bad thing for me, but I think the reason some of you might not like this, as we're talking about the powderiness, is sometimes late, even sort of in the dry down, it can give off a little bit of a Play-Doh-like feel. Just the nature of this powderiness and subtle sweetness can give off that kind of feel, which you might not enjoy. So you do have to, I think, like or be okay with wearing somewhat powdery fragrances. There's sort of, this has a kind of pillowy softness about it. But that's also what I think makes this really, really attractive. And, there's something about it that, obviously I didn't like it initially, or, I wasn't in love with it initially, but then there's something about it kept bringing me back to it. And it's just the most kind of delicious scent. It's one of those fragrances. It just is so edible. It reminds me a lot of dessert like creme brulee, right? That kind of, burnt, what do you call it? The burnt sugar on top. And, it's not overly sweet, but it has a sort of milkiness as well, this creaminess. But again, here it's balanced by the effervescent quality given by the bergamot and pink pepper. So it's quite airy of a scent, and yet you can tell that this has body, and it like I said, it lasts all day long because it just feels rich but not overpowering. And so I think that's sort of the ideal territory for fragrances, to be strong, performers, but not overwhelming of a scent. And to the point of, it was actually quite warm today in New York, and I went out, and just to test it more, I wore this. It was totally wearable in like 80 degrees, sunshine. There's something that is sort of, it's a strong scent, and will have a bubble, but it kind of lifts off in the air. It's not a scent that weighs you down. So that's what I really love about this scent. And again, smells very, very exquisite. Just like a high-end dessert, right, is different from your, Dunkin' Donuts. It's the same way here. This kind of vanilla accord, this kind of amber smells very smooth and elegant and high end. And I think that you will draw compliments because of that factor, right? This is the kind of scent that even if you might think, oh, you know, I'm you know, super manly, I don't like these scents. I think if you were to, you know, go on a date with this kind of scent, you know, the girl's gonna like it for sure because of how delicious this scent is without being cheap smelling, without being, you know, like a teenage girl kind of vibe. It's a very mature but modern and crisp smelling and sweet fragrance. So it's a great scent. Yeah, guys, so I absolutely recommend this scent, especially for the deal that you can get. Totally underrated in my opinion. And let me know if you've tried other fragrances from this line, the Collection Extraordinaire, and if you think they're better. You know, I want to add to my collection, obviously, and I want to try some new scents. So let me know. Give me some recommendations, and hopefully I can put them in future reviews. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.